Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Can we talk for a minute? Girl, I want to know your name. Jubilam Buma 7 this week. I am in a very highly anticipated electric vehicle, the GWM ORA. So here in South Africa, it's called the ORA 3. Abroad, it's called the Funky Cat or the Good Cat. And I feel like South Africa could have actually brought it here and said GWM ORA Slim Cat. That actually would have worked for our market, maybe. Do you guys agree with that name? Let me know in the comments. So, yeah, let's get started. Before we continue, I wanted to remind you guys again about the cars.coza app and website. So I've linked below where you can get it. It's available on Apple. It's also available on Android. So if you're looking for a new Aura, maybe a used Aura, please do check them out. Or if you're looking for any other car, guys, they don't discriminate. You'll find it all there. So yeah, let's get back into the GWM Aura. Let's get started with the exterior of the GWM Aura. I think the Aura is a very cute looking car. You know, a lot of you guys said it looks like a Macan. Some said it looks like a Ford Puma. I did find out that it actually, a former designer at Porsche is actually involved with the design process of the GWM Aura. So it kind of makes sense of what you guys say. So yeah, I get what you guys were talking about, but I feel like it looks like a Volkswagen Beetle. You know, with these large LED headlamps, these round ones, looks like a bit of a bug, and this little stance thing. Like, it's so cute. I think it's like one of the cutest cars on the market right now. It turns heads, obviously, with the unorthodox styling and the very bug-eyed styling. It's a very retro kind of styling and a very old school. Very reminds me of like a diner, the 50s, you know, those waffles, those kind of movies. Hairspray. Yeah, that kind of vibe. That's what it gives me. And I really do like the rear. You know, you have a little bit of a spoiler happening over there. You have the Aura badge all over. Across the boot lift, you have the solid unibar that actually, like, you know, like buffers or loads when the car's turned on. So I find that to be absolutely cool. Like, it's cool. You have your reverse lights with that all the way at the bottom, and I really think it looks nice. You have red calipers. So this is the top spec GT 400 ultra luxury. So this is the top of the range. You have red calipers. You have a bit of this red accent going on a certain part of the rim, which I think is actually quite cool and looks very pretty. I do love this bluish gray color also that it's finished in. So in terms of the exterior, I'm highly impressed. Moving on to the interior, I think it's absolutely premium, plush, cool, retro, fun, spunky, lekker, mooi, awesome, relevant. Al die woorde wat jy kan omdink. Dit is hierso. This is hier binne. You know, like, who there's a come? I actually like it. This dish of a steering wheel, like, o squatela sa inamelo, ito squatela sa bayrang mabel, ting. Asite var mabilis ting. Oh, man, memories. You know, so you have this really large circular steering wheel, and you have these piano black buttons which imitate the touch haptic ones, but these are not touch haptics. You can physically touch them. You have this 10.25-inch infotainment system screen with 2 screens. So it looks like they were imitating BMW here, but we'll get into that a bit later. And I do like this two-tone color that's happening all across the interior with this red and the black. Does feel a bit of a maroonish ox blood color to me. Doesn't really feel a bit red. You know, you have the home wrecker red seat belts. You have the GT badging on the headrest. You have electric seats. You also have the accents going on, the red, the contrasting red and black. You know, you have your climate control menu, which also feels so retro because it looks like these fighter jet buttons, like, you know, activate launch control mode. Like, this is actually cool. And I think the interior is very minimalist. I think it's very beautiful. I mean, you have the rotary dial here, and I love the center console because it allows for me to rest my arm on it. You have 2 USB ports up front, and you also have a wireless charging bay. You know, you do have electric windows up front, and for the rear, they're electrically operated, central locking, a lot of cool stuff. You do have a sunroof also. So I think in terms of the interior, it's a very nice and beautiful place to be in. It's very retro, man. Like, I think this is a very refreshing car to be in. But obviously, we'll get into that obviously a little bit later. But in terms of the interior, I have never been in something like this, and I think this is really Aura being an electric vehicle. You guys know by now that there is no conventional engine. There's no internal combustion engine. It's just a whole pack of batteries. So this one uses a 63 kilowatt hour battery that produces 128 kilowatts and 250 newton meters of torque, right? And with electric cars, there are no gears. So it just runs like shoops, it just goes. So obviously they vary. This being the GT, the 400 super luxury, there's actually a difference. Let me just explain the difference. So when you get into the Aura range, you get your Aura 300. So the 300 denotes that it gives you 300 kilometers of range on a full charge. The 400, which is the one we have here, denotes that it has 400 kilometers of range on a full charge. Okay. And this one uses a bigger battery. It uses a 63 kilowatt hour battery, whereas the 300 models use a 48 kilowatt hour battery. So it's a bit of a smaller battery pack in the lower end models. And how does it drive? I feel like this is what an electric car, how it drives. I feel like the GWM ORA is a bit firm. It is a bit firm in terms of the way it drives. It feels a bit restrictive, and you have three different driving modes. You have, and they all here in the bottom. So you have sport. Did you hear that? Sport mode, bubbles, eco, and auto mode. So I am in eco. I'm going to eco, and it's a bit of a firm drive, but it's actually not cumbersome or uncomfortable to drive. It's actually very, very nice. So in terms of driving dynamics, I always say electric cars kind of drive very similarly because there's not much agility to them, but this is a bit different from the rest. It's a bit different from the cars I've driven, and it's a very enjoyable kind of difference. The power output is actually quite great. Yes, this is 128 kilowatts, but when you put your foot down, it just sprints nicely, sprightly off the line. It's a very nice little car. It's a very engaging little product. So I think in terms of the way they've built this car, I'm actually very, very impressed with it. So let's now get into the verdict. I think the GWM Aura 03 is what an electric car should be. It's simple, it's practical-ish. The boot space is quite small. But it gets the job done. It's bigger than its rival, the Mini SE. And I say the Mini SE because this is the most affordable EV in South Africa, and it comes in at 686,000 Rand. You will pay significantly more for the GT, this GT 400 Super Ultra Luxury. This one retails for 835,000 Rand, 900. So that is a lot of money for this. And the GT is mainly just a spec thing. It's just mainly aesthetics and what you like in terms of it's a personality thing, if I put it like that. But I think the Aura undercuts the Mini beautifully and undercuts it well because the Mini, from what I remember, was very, 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 very small. With the Mini, you only got 2 doors or a 3-door. This is a fully fledged 5-door. There's space for rear occupancy without folding the seats. They can just walk in with the rear doors. You have a decent boot space. The only thing that also bothers me about this boot space is that those plugs are not in bags. And I'm just like, boring. Like, why would you not just pack them in a little bit of a little bag to make it neater? Because then now when you put your luggage, you have to now swift all those cables and put them to the side, and then it just gets a bit tedious, and you're just like, boring. But in terms of the way it drives, the value proposition of the Aura, how seamless charging is. I mean, I left this thing at Design Quarter and I went to have a meeting in just somewhere around Four Ways. I left it for an hour. I plugged it in, it was on 40%, and then I charged it. And when I came back, it was on. When I came back, it was on 94%, right? And like I said earlier, the full claimed range of here is 400 kilometers. Unfortunately, I haven't reached the 400 kilometers. I'm going to charge it again now. If I reach it, I'll tell you guys on socials. But I've managed to drive quite well with it, guys. I went from Design Quarter, I went to Pretoria North. I'm currently now in Rosebank, and I'm still on 239 kilometers of range. So it's efficient, it's frugal, it's good for the daily, it's good for the school run, it's good for going to work. If you want to do a road trip, sure. I mean, it's been tried and tested that you can take an EV on a road trip. But I really wouldn't suggest full occupancy in here, especially because of the compromised boot space. So Miralo Yalina is not going to sit very nicely, if you guys get what I mean. But overall, I think that this is a compelling product. This is a product that I would consider for myself as a daily. and it's a very great EV. Of course, in terms of this electrification thing, we need to be aware that not many can afford electric cars, and also notwithstanding the whole load shedding conversation, this, that, and the third, yada, yada, yada. But I think they've given it a good shot, and it's a very impressive shot. This car turns heads. Everywhere I'm going, everyone's like, what is this? They don't even believe that it's a GWM. So I'm like, GWM, you lekker ding? Yeah, the mooi ding gemaak. Like this net awesome ribbon, this mooi, this oulik, this klein. It just goes everywhere. Like, oh, rabatong. Kwena mo to my baby, kwena mo to my darling. Ah, I'm so proud of the Aura. So ultimately, I will give the GWM Aura 3 a very good 9 out of 10. So other nitty-gritties that I don't like, the tech is very sensitive. Anything you do, it just goes haywire. Boom, 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 beep, whatever. Hey, emergency steering activated, blind spot monitors, all this, that, and the third. So it does get a bit nervous and it does get a bit agitated. But I think that's something that's very prevalent in Chinese cars. I think if you've driven a Chery and a Haval, their safety systems just go haywire. And they have very comprehensive safety systems. Your blind spot monitoring is great. The tech up in front here even imitates. There's a little car in front of me right now, up on the digital cluster. So in terms of safety, they have it up there. It's just that the warning signs and the beeping could make someone become very, very nervous also, because all that beeping just makes you like, Joarasa, like, one rasa, like, yo, like, calm down, bro. I know what I'm doing. I'm driving. I won't hurt you. So that's another nitty gritty thing. Other than that, I think the GWM, I'm so impressed, guys. I feel like those little things I've mentioned, but I'm impressed, guys. And I think this is something that I would consider on a daily. And yeah, guys, if you are looking also to get the Aura, but you're also worried about safety, right? There's something I want to tell you guys and I want to chat to you guys about. There's something called Cartrack. You guys know Cartrack? Obviously, it's a tracking company, a tracking device. They have a 92% success rate, or recovery rate, as they call it. And they are really, really good, and they are absolutely necessary in terms of making sure that your car is safe and you know about its whereabouts 24/7. So click on the landing page below, request a quote, and don't forget to Cartrack it up. If you don't want it for the new Aura, you can check it out and find a code for your existing car to make sure that you know where your car is and it's all safe and dandy at every single given moment. So yeah, don't forget to check out Cartrack. Discuss the rivals for a little bit. I wanted us to discuss the rivals for a bit of this car. So with it being the most affordable electric vehicle to come into the market, it's undercutting the Mini SE quite significantly also. So the Mini SE obviously had a very compromised boot and a very compromised leg room. I mean, I remember when I had it, when I was sitting in my normal seating position, the seat would touch the rear seat. So obviously maybe only a baby could fit in there. So this one being a fully fledged 5-door car, it gives it that competitive edge over it. It has a lot more range than the Mini SE. I mean, the Mini SE used to yield about 200 or 300 Ks or even less. I think on a full charge I once got like 180 K. It was horrendous in terms of the range. So this one has 400 kilometers of range. I think that's commendable, right? So it's absolutely great, the fact that they have 400 kilometers of range, and you can even get the other ones that have 300 kilometers of range. So in terms of the Mini SE, this is probably more, it's a better offering. The Mini SE is also quite expensive. I mean, that thing is priced at already 770 or 780,000 rand, somewhere there. And then you get this one, which starts at 686,000 rand. So I think this is obviously, it goes without saying, this is the better offering. Another rival I wanted to throw in the works is the new Volvo EX30. It comes in at about 700,000 rand. Yes, it's a bit more expensive than this one, but I think it has 200 kilowatts of power. 200 kilowatts of power. So that's also one thing to look out for. I just wanted to throw it in there. And that is it from me, Boomer Server. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments, what are you guys getting? Are you getting this one for 835,000 rand? Or are you getting the entry-level Aura 03 for 686,000 rand? Or are you getting the Mini SE? Are you getting a Volvo? Which electric vehicle has sparked your interest? Let me know in the comments down below. And yeah, that is it, guys. Like if it's a Huawei. So if it's Zoza. And guys, y'all ain't tell me that Huawei is so expensive. Muna, oreka yang repenyana ya ma 1 something, Jo. Hape ke brotonyana le dinama. It's 180. Well, yona gas khona shem. Awa, nako bolela ko mahobeng, nako ja mahobe le behodu. Cause awo khona. And who healthy, who monate ko khuwa ene. Mara o khona hal it's unsustainable. 180 ka letsatsi ha wa mfethu di plate di guy mo senteng. Mothanno reka monyana mehodu le tlhakwana. Anyway, yay man. Yo, guys, meter taxis. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.